Hey family, so I thought I'd talk about a controversial topic today, which is this autonomous zone in Minneapolis where anarchists have taken over and created their own separate zone. This may seem like a good idea, but it's not gonna work. Number one, those people are highly unorganized. They're doing a sort of Occupy Wall Street type of move, which won't really necessarily work in the long run, and they started to separate into factions, and I saw a terrible speech from I think it's a bisexual man with makeup on, and a Latino guy, kind of chubby. I guess he's the one of the leaders. I'm not sure, but he gave an awful speech against white people, and this is really troubling because the Black Lives Matter movement was about white people just, coming together and helping to stop racism, right? And to reform, police brutality and to come together. It wasn't to alienate white people and try to disenfranchise them all, right? And it wasn't for the white anti-fascist people to take over the Black Lives Matter movement, the Black Panther movement for themselves in order to tear down the capitalist system. So there's a lot of different movements within there going on, and it is a little funny how they have like, please donate soaps, please donate food, because I guess some homeless people stole all their supplies, and they've been asking for armed people to go there, which usually those anti-fascist people, the far lefties, were usually against the Second Amendment, so it's really kind of a little ironic how now they support it once they need it. I have to say that they're pretty lucky that they've been allowed to play their little games in that capital. The revolution is not going to happen there, and it's public property and it's taxpayer public property, and you and all your groups, you can't just take it over. You can have like these movies they're doing, like a lot of people say it's really peaceful, but you're not leaving America. It's still American property, and I think it's going to end pretty bloody if it doesn't diffuse itself. You're going to have to see the military go in, because normal people are not going to tolerate the offshoot of that movement. There was a specific goal that the Black Lives Matter have set, and it's kind of selfish that the LGBTQ community with the anti-fascist community and other little niche groups, even vegan activists and militant atheists, have taken over and co-opted the movement and now occupying a space. It's not going to work. It's just playing at games, pretty much, I think. It's very unorganized. I read their demands. Some of them are very unreasonable. You're not going to get those demands. So, of course, if you don't have any reasonable demands, you usually don't have any supplies, you don't have the guns, you're not going to win out at all in an area like that. And the police have been very patient, and the Seattle politicians have been very patient. But at this point, it's time to disband that movement and get back to the nitty-gritty of creating better change through more positive, useful measures of community outreach. But I do not support that type of movement. It does just garbage everywhere, graffiti all over everything. You know, it's okay. Now it's time to clean up. It's time to repair. It's time to move on, right? Let the Black Lives Matter movement take over. They're going to, take on court cases. They're pressuring police reform. They're doing a great job. And this Occupy movement is distracting and makes the whole movement look like a circus show, because you're not going to take on that at all. And when the ranchers in Texas, I believe, the Bundy Ranch, did a standoff, the left was against them, and those people had legitimate grounds over, cattle ranching territory. You don't have grounds for taking over a police department or any area like that. It's not going to work. The citizens of that area are not going to support it for long. The business owners are getting tired of it. It's too much, and it's really not the best idea and very distracting from a movement that had so much potential. Through chaos is a ladder. It's been done. The signals have been set for police reform, and they're happening. Now it's time to pull back, and you let people take over how they want to take over. But If you're going to target white people, you're going to just help people, the KKK recruit people. You can't lower white people and insult them and trash them and then expect them to be your ally. You need each other. We need each other. The goal is to get rid of racism, not alienate whites and push them to the far right. Because the far right is with open arms. They're like, come over here. Come over here. Look at that. They're targeting you because your skin color. When they say they're the ones who don't do it, come over here. Come over here. We'll keep you safe. Come on, man. That's not a good plan. It's not a good plan at all. You need unifying language. Love language, not just vigorous violence and hatred towards all cops. Doesn't work. You can't hate all cops. All right? You can hate the bad ones and you can want to reform, but you can't hate them all. That's stupid. That's childish thinking. And just like you can't hate all soldiers. You need security forces. And the funny part is these activists are, having already internal fights over control. And it just seems like a disaster show, and it's quite embarrassing. And if that's the best revolution you can do, then it's really pathetic. And I know some people are going to get very mad at me for saying this, but you got to think of the long-term goal, and you're going to bring in some Waco type situation. And it's how long do you not want to take a shower for? How long do you want to just spray paint over the same spray paint? At this point, there's more productive ways to create a revolution. Occupying that space and calling it an autonomous free zone is not going to work. Just writing on a piece of cardboard has no legal standing at all. It's just you're wasting your time. This is why I think we need to open up the country back and get people back to work. Because we're not working right now, people are doing crazy things like this. So I think it's time to open up the economy. And then the hospitals, they never did get overwhelmed. It's been over 3 months. The military was called in to make encampments for that virus. They didn't really need it. They were receded. They went away. I think we should open back up and get people back to doing something, because otherwise these people are going to hang out there forever and it's going to turn into some giant homeless camp. And that's not going to look great for property value, and it's not going to do any legislation really, and it's just going to cause infighting and unsanitary conditions, and it's time we fix that. We don't let that get out of hand. That's what I got to say. What do you think, family?